What if I told you that the key to experiencing firm, lasting erections after 60 has been quietly waiting within your own body all this time? No medications, no unpleasant side effects, and no need for elaborate routines. I know it might sound surprising, but it's entirely possible. I'm Dr. Edward Martin. After spending over 30 years helping men regain their confidence in the bedroom, I've come to believe that our bodies are capable of much more than we often give them credit for, especially when it comes to reigniting natural intimacy. Through decades of experience, I've found that we often overlook simple, powerful tools built into our own biology. Today, I want to introduce you to something that the majority of men have never heard. 3 specific points on the body that, when gently tapped before intimacy, can trigger the body's arousal response, boost circulation to the penis, and support strong, natural erections. This technique is rooted in centuries-old acupressure practices and increasingly supported by modern science. It's free, effective, and shockingly underused by men in their 60s and beyond. In the next few moments, I'll walk you through exactly where these points are located, how to stimulate them, and the optimal timing to use them for best results. All you need are your hands and a few quiet moments before intimacy. That's it, no devices, no prescriptions. I'll also teach you a 90-second routine I've given to many of my patients who had nearly given up hope, who found that this small shift in practice helped rekindle their desire, restore physical function, and reconnect with their sense of masculinity. But before I explain how to do it, I want to help you understand why this works. Because when you grasp what's happening inside your body, it builds trust in the process. You're no longer guessing, you're engaged, present, and empowered. As we get older, especially beyond the age of 60, our body's response to intimacy begins to shift. It's not just about testosterone or physical drive, it's about the coordination between your nervous system, blood flow, and how your body handles stress in those key moments. That's where tapping comes in. By stimulating certain pressure points, you send a direct signal to your system. Relax, you're safe, and it's okay to allow the blood to flow. It's a simple way to move your body from a state of tension to a state of readiness, from hesitation into ease. Let's take a deeper look at the science and nervous system mechanics behind this. Because tapping on just 3 areas of your body, when done properly, can unlock a natural, medication-free way to achieve stronger, more consistent erections. I'll admit, when I first encountered tapping as a potential solution, I was skeptical. As a classically trained physician, I defaulted to lab work, pharmaceutical interventions, and conventional methods. But after hearing story after story from men of all backgrounds, researching further, and seeing real-world results, I had to acknowledge a powerful truth. Not every solution comes in the form of a pill. The most powerful solutions are often already within you, waiting patiently to be activated. Our bodies are naturally built for connection and intimacy. But with age, those internal systems can start to wear down. Circulation slows, nerves become less responsive, and the weight of stress starts to interfere. It's no surprise that many men over 60 begin to assume, maybe this is just how things are now. But the truth is, it doesn't have to be that way. Not when you understand how to reawaken your body's natural systems through simple, mindful techniques. Tapping isn't just about applying pressure, it's a method of reconnecting your physical body with your nervous system. When you rhythmically stimulate specific areas, you activate nerve endings that send calming signals deep into your body. These messages engage the parasympathetic nervous system, which I often call your green light mode. It's what helps the body release tension, lower your heart rate, and relax blood vessels. And when it comes to intimacy, that kind of calm, open state is essential. Because here's the reality: erections don't thrive in stress. They thrive in stillness, in presence, in healthy blood flow. Tapping creates the space for that to happen. It doesn't rely on medication or chemicals. Instead, it supports the body's natural process efficiently and effectively. I've worked with men who spent years feeling disappointed and discouraged, only to find real change after learning this technique. And now, I'd like to show you the first point. It's one of the most powerful places on your body when it comes to unlocking pelvic energy and supporting arousal. Many men go their whole lives without realizing its significance even, though they carry it with them every day. Once you learn how to work with it, everything can begin to shift. Let's start with a point known as CV6, also referred to as the Sea of Energy. I remember showing this spot to a gentleman named Harold, who was in his early 70s. He looked at me skeptically and asked, "You're saying I just tap right here?" pointing beneath his navel. "That's really all it takes?" I smiled because, yes, sometimes it is that simple. CV6 is located about 2 finger widths below your belly button. In traditional Eastern medicine, this area has long been associated with vitality and core life force. Modern science now confirms its relevance, as it's closely connected to the nerves and blood vessels that support sexual function. By gently tapping here, you help redirect blood flow toward your pelvis, relax your core, and prepare your body for intimacy. But there's more to this than just the physical response. Many older men carry emotional weight in this part of the body, years of disappointment, embarrassment, or a quiet sense of loss. When they begin to engage with this area intentionally, not just to fix something, but to listen and reconnect, something powerful happens. For many older men, the lower abdomen holds not only physical tension, but also emotional weight. Years of quiet frustration, self-doubt, and feeling inadequate can settle there, unspoken but deeply felt. When a man finally makes contact with this area, when he taps gently, breathes deeply, and allows warmth to steer it as if something long dormant begins to awaken, I often remind my patients that tapping isn't about going through the motions. It's about intention. Imagine the energy moving, the blood beginning to circulate, your body rediscovering its natural power. Spend about a minute here. Take deep, calm breaths. Notice how your body reacts. You might feel a faint buzzing sensation or a gentle heat rising in your lower belly. That's your sea of energy starting to move. It's subtle, yet undeniably powerful. You're not pushing your body, you're inviting it back into balance. And that invitation can change everything. Now, while this first point helps activate physical energy, there's another point that plays a crucial role in calming the mind. Because even if blood is flowing, if anxiety takes over, everything can fall apart. That's why the second point is so essential. It brings quiet and steadiness to your inner world, something many men desperately need before intimacy. Let's talk about it. The second point is called K1, or the bubbling spring, and it's located on the sole of your foot, just under the ball. I remember one man in particular. His name was Frank, 68 years old, who came to me after quietly struggling for years. His main hurdle wasn't circulation, it was anxiety. The moment he got close to intimacy, his thoughts would spin out, his pulse would race, and everything would shut down. He told me it felt like his body and his brain were on completely different wavelengths. That's when I introduced him to the K1 point. At first, he was surprised that something on his foot could influence his ability to stay grounded during intimacy. But once he began stimulating that spot, something shifted. This point connects to the body's grounding energy. It helps turn down the noise, calm the nerves, and bring presence back into the moment. You see, by the time many men reach their 60s, they've been living with a background hum of stress for years. It builds day after day until the very moment you most want to be relaxed and connected, and instead, your nervous system is in overdrive. K1 speaks directly to that overstimulated system. With even a light touch, it sends a message that says, slow down, release, you're safe. Frank began tapping this point every evening, just 20 to 30 seconds on each foot. And gradually, he noticed something shift. His mind wasn't racing like before. His breathing slowed. Confidence, something he thought he had lost, began to return in quiet, steady waves. There's something powerfully grounding about touching your feet before intimacy. It brings your focus away from the chaos in your head and anchors it in the strength of your body. When you combine what you've awakened in your lower abdomen with the second point on the feet, something remarkable happens. You create a dynamic equilibrium energy rising from below, while tension begins to dissolve and settle. But there's still one more crucial element to this process, because while your body responds beautifully to stimulation in these lower areas, there's a single point above all others literally that completes the circuit. Most men never even think to look here, yet it's key to transitioning your mind from pressure to pleasure. Let me introduce you to this final piece of the puzzle. Point 3. GV20. 100 meetings. Crown of the head. I once worked with a gentleman named Richard, 72 years old, who summed up something I've heard time and time again. He said, "Doc, my body's ready but my head just won't cooperate." His posture was calm, but the frustration in his eyes revealed years of being stuck in his own thoughts. For him, like many men, physical readiness wasn't the issue, mental noise was the barrier. That's exactly why the GV20 point is so vital. This point sits right at the top of your head, where ancient traditions believe energy from all parts of the body converges. Known as the 100 meetings, it's a place of integration and focus. And while it may seem unusual, gently tapping this point can do more than stimulate nerves. It can help shift your entire mental state into presence and calm. Many men carry layers of mental clutter, anxieties, regrets, negative experiences that linger silently in the background. These thoughts can act like static, making it nearly impossible to connect, even if the body is responding. GV20 helps quiet that internal noise. When you tap this spot softly for just 20 to 30 seconds, you begin to feel your breath slow, your mind settle, and your awareness return to your body. I often use this point myself, not just for intimacy, but to regain clarity on busy or stressful days. It helps me feel centered, grounded, and present. When paired with the CV6 and K1 points, GV20 completes the full circuit from arousal to grounding to mental clarity. In intimate moments, that clarity can transform everything. It shifts the focus away from performance and into connection. Now picture this 3 simple points, activated in a calm 90-second practice before intimacy. This isn't just a technique, it's a ritual of reconnection, a way to tune your body, quiet your thoughts, and step fully into the moment. If this is resonating with you, stay with me. And if you're following along so far, feel free to type 1 in the comments just, so I know you're here and ready to continue. Let's keep going next. I'll walk you through the 4th point, how to bring it all together in a single, flowing sequence. Step 4, the sequence. Tap method before intimacy. Now that you've learned the power of each of the 3 key points, the true transformation begins when you combine them into a single, intentional practice. This is where things shift from technique to ritual, a brief moment of focus that awakens your body, steadies your mind, and aligns your energy before intimacy. I call it the sequence tap method. And to me, it's one of the most meaningful practices I've seen older men adopt, not just for better performance, but for a deeper sense of self-respect. It's not complicated or time-consuming. In fact, it takes less than 2 minutes. But in that small window of quiet, something significant can happen. You're no longer chasing results. You're not feeling anxious or rushed. You're simply reconnecting with your breath, your body, and the present moment. The process begins by tapping just beneath your navel, waking the sea of energy, and signaling your lower body to engage. Next, bring your awareness to the crown of your head, stimulating the GV20 point to calm your thoughts and invite stillness. Finally, end at the soles of your feet, gently tapping to soothe your nervous system and create a sense of grounding. 3 points, 3 deliberate steps, and 3 opportunities to reconnect with your inner strength, the part of you that never truly left. One of my clients once told me that he looks forward to this routine just as much as the intimacy itself. "It makes me feel whole again," he said. "Like I finally found alignment with who I am." That, to me, is the heart of it all. This isn't about performance tricks. The sequence tap is about giving yourself the space to feel again, to lead with calm, and to love with full presence. You're not chasing your old self. You're meeting the man you've always been, one who still feels desire, who still craves connection, and who deserves fulfillment without apology. Step 5. What to do next? A simple action plan. At this point, you now hold knowledge that most men never receive. You've discovered how a few mindful taps in your lower abdomen, your head, and your feet can reignite sexual vitality from the inside out. And what's more, all of this is already available to you. No prescriptions, no appointments, no judgment. Just you, your breath, and a bit of focus. So what should your next step be? Start tonight. Don't wait for the right moment, create one. Take 2 quiet minutes before bed or before intimacy. Practice the sequence tap exactly as you've learned it. CV6, GV20, K1, and take 3 deep, unhurried breaths between each phase. There's no need to push or overthink. Simply let your body respond in its own time. This isn't about forming a habit, it's about building a rhythm, a gentle return to balance. Try this for the next 7 days. That's all I ask. Just 1 week of intention and see what begins to change. This is a simple ritual, just like brushing your teeth or washing up before bed. But as you go through each day, I encourage you to notice more than just what's happening physically. Pay attention to how you're feeling emotionally. Do you sense a little more confidence, a bit more presence, a growing sense of hope? Because that's the true breakthrough. When your mind begins to trust your body again, everything starts to shift. You may even feel inspired to share this practice with your partner. Many of the men I've worked with found that bringing this part of themselves into the relationship deepened their connection, not just physically, but emotionally too. Conversations opened up. Trust grew stronger. Affection became more meaningful. What starts with a few simple taps often grows into something far more intimate. And if after a week you begin to feel more energized, more connected, more alive, keep going. Don't stop. Your body remembers its purpose, and so does your spirit. Before we wrap up, there's one final message I want to leave you with. It's not a tip or a technique. It's something more important, a truth that every man over 60 deserves to hear, though very few ever do. So stay with me, because this part matters. Final reflections, reclaiming your inner strength. If there's one thing I hope you carry forward from all we've explored together, it's this: your age does not diminish your desire, your strength, or your right to experience fulfilling, intimate connection. Far too many men over 60 have quietly resigned themselves to the idea that their best years are gone, that fading arousal or disconnection is simply part of getting older. I don't believe that, and you don't have to either. What you've uncovered today is something most men will never come across. You've learned that with nothing more than your hands and a few minutes of quiet focus, you can stimulate 3 key areas of your body: your lower belly, the crown of your head, and the soles of your feet, and begin to bring your system back into balance. You've seen how these points can help shift your nervous system from stress to arousal, allow blood to flow freely, and welcome confidence and connection back into your life. But more than anything, this journey is about reclaiming who you are, rediscovering the part of yourself that may have been buried beneath years of silence, disappointment, or doubt. The part that still wants to feel, to connect, to be seen and desired. I say this not just as a physician, but as someone who has listened to hundreds of men share their deeply personal stories. And in nearly every case, it comes down to one quiet question: is it too late for me? And my answer, without hesitation, is no. It is never too late to come back to life. Whether you're in a long-term relationship or finding your way again, what matters most now is the choice you make moving forward. You have a method, you have a path, and most importantly, you have a body that isn't broken, it's wiser, more experienced, and ready to reconnect with what it was always meant to feel. Just a few quiet moments of intention can start to spark changes you might never have thought possible. So when this video ends, don't focus on what time has taken away. Focus on what you're about to reclaim: your strength, your presence, your sense of pride. This is your chapter to write, and it's far from over. In fact, the most meaningful and connected part of your journey may still be ahead of you. If anything you've heard today resonated, if it gave you even a glimmer of hope or a moment to reflect, please take a second to like this video, share it with someone who might benefit, and drop a comment below. Let me know what spoke to you most, or just type, "I'm ready." if you're taking that step forward, back toward confidence. When you engage, you help others find their way too. And it lets me know you're out there tuning in, taking action, and stepping into your power. So don't hold back. Be part of the conversation. You're not doing this alone, and your story is worth being told.